Hello and welcome to another video. This time we'll be making a gradient logo in Adobe Illustrator. So let's start off by making a sketch first, so we can have a guide for our logo. If you haven't noticed yet, this logo should be a lowercase letter a, and I will also add some objects on top to make it more unique. This will make the logo look abstract instead of just being regular letter A. Now I will just delete all of the unnecessary lines, so we can go ahead and start filling each part of the logo with different color. As you can see, I used very dark shade of black for the main part, and for the other parts, I will use lighter shade of gray so we know that these objects are separated. And at this point, with all objects in place, you can make more adjustments by erasing some edges of the logo to make it more smooth. I'm quite happy with how this turned out, and now I can upload this sketch image to my computer so we can trace it and create an actual logo. So let's start off by opening Adobe Illustrator, and placing this sketch we just created inside. Make sure to stretch it across the artboard until you reach the size you want. Move the sketch to the side if you want more space on your artboard, then lock this layer, and create a new one for a logo we are going to create. Rename the layer if you really want. And now we are ready to create a logo from this reference image. I'm going to start with selecting Ellipse tool, which will be our main part of the logo. Make the circle around the same size of the reference image, then convert it from fill to stroke and make sure to increase the stroke until you get the size you want. I will give it a weight of around 70 pixels, and adjust the size of the circle until I make it look identical to the image on the left. Now with this stroke size still selected, use the pen tool to add a vertical line to this circle. Drag this line to the middle of the circle like I showed you here. Then go to stroke options and select the round cap. You can see now that the logo is almost identical to the reference image. So now we can expand it, and by expanding we will turn this stroke to fill. As you can see, now we have these two separate objects, and I will change the color of the circle to keep them visually separated. And also move this small object under the main one, using right-click, arrange, send to back. Now when we have our main shape of the logo in place, we can create this rounded object on top. And to do that, we are going to select the ellipse tool again and create another circle. Feel free to stretch this circle a little bit to make it larger, and move it all the way up to the edge of the second circle just like I did here. Now we just have to create a lines on each side of the circle, so I'm going to select the pen tool again, then drag a line from this intersection, all the way to the edge of the circle. To follow the reference image, I will curve this line so it follows the path of the circle. And now I can adjust each anchor point until I get it to look right. You can also use these handles if you want to adjust it even more. Here I switched to outline mode so I can just see the lines, that way I can see if the line is going in the direction that I want. And now I will select this object and drag it while holding Alt key to duplicate it. Then reflect this object so we can have two identical objects on each side of the circle. So now just slowly place this object in the same position that you see on the left. Remember to activate smart guides to help you place this object more precisely. Double check if your object is in place, then zoom out a little bit and select all the objects you just created. Then using Shape Builder tool, create the same object that you see in the reference image. You can see here that it's very easy to create new shapes using this tool. And now we have a final shape of the logo in place. So let's just give this middle part of the logo a different color so we can see what we made. You will notice that there is one more thing to do, and that would be the angle of this logo, so let's just select these two objects and rotate it by 45 degrees. Next, select each object and start adding gradients to them. I have my gradient color already selected, but you can choose other colors if you want. I don't want my whole logo to be in blue color, so I will change the gradient of this object. Then with gradient tool selected, rotate it if you want by clicking at the end of the handle. When you're happy with the direction of the gradient, go to this panel and change the colors of the gradient. I will use combination of green and yellow because I think it will give a good contrast to this blue color. Now adjust the gradients a little bit more until you get it to look just right. This is not the video on how to use gradient tool properly, so I hope that at least you know the basics of this tool. I would need a whole video just to explain how this tool works, so let me know in the comments is that something you would like to see in my future videos. When we finally make these gradients look just like we want, we can go ahead and start adding highlights to these objects. And to do that, we need to select one object, Then switch between drawing modes by clicking on this little icon and selecting Draw Inside option. Now just select the color for our highlight. I will just use pure white color this time. Then select Pen tool, and zoom in a little bit to start drawing this object. You don't have to draw the exact same shape like I did here. But I think this will fit perfectly with the overall shape of the logo. And now just go to Properties panel and reduce the opacity of this white object to around 20%. This is looking pretty good, so I will switch back to normal drawing mode again. Now we just have to repeat the same process for other objects. So click on this blue gradient shape and select Draw Inside option again. From the color picker, select the pure white color again. But this time we are going to use Ellipse tool to create this highlight object. Stretch it out a little bit to make it larger and then reduce the opacity to around 10%. Now just select this object and move it on top of this other object like I showed you here, and also rotate it by 45 degrees so it fits the direction of the logo. Switch back to normal drawing mode and we're done. This is the final logo, and I can say that I'm very happy with how this turned out. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, click that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Also make sure to check out other videos on my channel. Stay creative and I will see you next time. Bye.